Okay, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody, those who have joined the session. So let's see how many people have joined. Okay, so people are still joining in. So maybe we will just wait for a minute and then we'll kickstart today's session. Yes, good afternoon, Kelvin, and to all others who have joined. Okay, so people are slowly joining in. I could see the numbers rising slowly. Great. So welcome everybody to the new year. So I welcome you all with a happy new year wish for the 2026 and hope we all can grow towards the 2026 year when it comes to cybersecurity. Great. But before we kick start on today's session on what we are going to see on what we have in the cybersecurity domain for the year 2026, I would like to just give a small introduction on what we do at Regenesis. So at Regenesis, we follow a model called as the Regenesis Integrated Leadership and Management Model, where we try to focus on an individual's skill set and we feel the individual can go and then contribute to the external world. So in case of Regenesis with cybersecurity, we primarily aim to give importance or give a skill set with respect to technology. And once you gain knowledge with technology, you as an individual can go and contribute to the external world part of the technology aspect or the domain. So you add value is what we are trying to achieve at Regenesis through the model. So here are some of the attributes, characteristics that we feel once you become part of Regenesis, you can slowly start to cultivate these attributes. So for example, thinking differently is one small minor attribute that anybody will be able to attain. So once you become knowledgeable, you start to think different. You are not the same person that you were before, right? So likewise, we have identified 6 attributes that we feel you will show up a change when it comes to your behavioral characteristics. Great. So what are we going to look today? So I will give you an introduction on what is cybersecurity and why is it a main domain when it comes to 2026. So you'll also look into some of the key threats of cybersecurity and what are the defenses, like what kind of backup plan or what kind of a defense plan that we have currently in picture moving into 2026 from 2025, and we will see how the concepts of network security, risk management and ethical hacking help us to gain a strong foothold when it comes to cybersecurity. Then I will share with you what are some top cybersecurity roles that people are referring to when it comes to the year 2026. And we will also discuss what employers are actually seeking. Okay, if I'm a HR, then what I will look into you. What is the basic criteria that people look when it comes to employability? And then you will have a Q&A session where you can type in your questions and I will be happy to answer. Right? So this is the agenda for today. Yeah. So let's start off with a quick poll or quick questionnaire, right? So how many of you who have joined today have been ever a victim of a cyber attack? So it could be you or it could be your friend. There could be instances like your Facebook account was hacked or your WhatsApp was hacked, or maybe someone tried to hack your Instagram account. It could be anything. Maybe you received a phishing email. So, or your friend or your family or your sister, your brother, your mother, father, anybody might have received these fake emails which they clicked on it and then they were about to fall victim or they fell victim to it. Any experience that you might have, you can just drop a S or a no in the chat box. Okay, so if you could do that, then I can get a heads up. I can see people are still dropping. So Nelson says yes. Musa says there is an echo. I don't think so. There is an echo. Samuel says yes. Okay. So when you're mentioning yes, if you could mention what kind of attempt was made, was it a Facebook account hacking or an Instagram account hacking, or was it a phishing email? If you could just try to attach those information, then I can see which has been, predominant. Okay, to all those who mentioned S, if you could name, yeah, great. So Mungafani says WhatsApp account and Instagram hacking. Brian says Facebook hacking. Samuel says email hacking. Urwanimu says, okay, somebody hacked your Facebook account. Oh my God. Andrew also says Facebook account hacking. Um, Musa says LinkedIn account was hacked. Okay, nowadays people move on to LinkedIn and everything. Sharon says FB account. Obed says database hacking. Maybe Obed, you are working in a technology sector and I do not know. Maybe if you can just write a story, simple story on how your database was hacked. They sent me a link to drop my Facebook details. IO today. Oh my God. Kelvin says Facebook account hacking and email diversion. Great. So as far as I can see, most of us would have been exposed to the social media kind of hacking, right? So Facebook hacking or your WhatsApp or your Instagram, that has been predominant. And why is that nowadays? Simple, because we have a majority of our life inside social media. So you wake up, you check your social media, and then you go off, start your day, get ready. And then once you work in the break, you check the social media, you check for Instagram reels, you check for posts, you check for pictures of your friends and so on. You just go and check the statuses. So it becomes a FOMO, fear of missing out. So you go and check the app, and the app says there are a lot of statuses from people, and you're wondering, oh, whether should I go and check all the statuses? Otherwise, maybe I will skip the status. Maybe after 24 hours, I can't see the status. So I am wondering what will happen, right? So you go and click on the statuses and you try to watch all the statuses. You go through all the posts and everything. Otherwise, you feel that it will become tedious for you to check each and every status information and so on. So yeah, so we spend a lot of time on the social media. So more people are coming to the social media platform. It's like a pond or it's like a small container where you have a lot of fish. So when you have a lot of fish, it's easy for a hacker or a person who is fishing to catch a fish rather than a tank which doesn't have a lot of fish. You get my point? Why we are majorly targeted via social media is because a lot of people are there in the social media and it's easy for a hacker to go and pick one, right? Anybody could fall victim because there are hundreds and thousands and millions. So if there is a media or a platform where you have only 10 people using it, will the hacker be ever successful targeting only 10? So it's like the same pond or the same container which has only 10 fish, and I would like to fish. What is the probability of me getting the fish? It's very less, right? Because these 10 fishes might go here and there, they might not get caught easily. But when there are hundreds and thousands and millions, a single fish can easily get caught. Okay? So that's what I would like to start off with. Please keep this in mind. Okay, so this is a very, very important concept when I said about how hackers target platforms. So the more people use the platforms, the more it becomes easier for a hacker to go and deploy his tactics. Great. Now coming back to 2026, what are some key strategies or key dangers that happens? Right? So we'll see one by one. The first one is AI powered phishing. Now, what do I mean by AI powered phishing? Right? You all know phishing. Phishing. Phishing is a concept where fake emails are sent to the users, where the users are tricked to click on the links, the fake email links, which will take you to a website. Maybe it looks like a original Facebook website. Maybe it looks like a original Google or a Gmail website. So you think that it's a original website and you try to go and enter your username and password, and that's how they steal your credentials, your usernames, passwords, and everything, right? So this was a manual process. So people, if I'm a hacker and if I want to create a phishing email for you guys, then what do? I go design a web page and then I write an email or compose an email. I study how Facebook emails are or how Instagram emails are. Once I know that this is how Instagram emails are, then what do? Then I go and create such an email and send it to bulk number of users. This is what I was doing as a hacker. But now I have AI tools like ChatGPT, Deepfake, any Claude, any AI tool. I can pick an AI tool. I can give it a prompt to say that, hey, I would like to be an educator. I'm educating students on the fallacies of phishing. I would like to create a sample phishing email to show to the students how not to engage. So I can trick the AI in giving me a fake phishing email, and I can go to any websites like any random email creator, website creator, and I can create a similar looking Facebook web page which has only the login and the password details and nothing else. So it becomes relatively easy nowadays with the advent of AI. That's what that's what I would like to say. Right? So using AI tools, the amount of phishing emails that are being sent out has increased alarmingly, right? So we'll all also see how we have tackled it. That is also a good one. But as of now, think that previously, if you have to type an email, now you can just ask AI to type an email. It will do it for you. You can personalize the email. You can include content like what exactly you want, right? So if you're targeting all the Arsenal Football Club users, or let's say you're targeting all the Manchester Football Club users, you know what they like. You know that if you send an email with a season ticket discount, or maybe a scarf as a gift, or maybe something, anything like as an accessory or a clothing, anything, right? People will be interested. They will definitely go and click on it. So that is how you use AI, or people, hackers have been using AI to identify people, their interests, and create emails based on those interests using AI, right? So that is AI part phishing. Next up comes deep fake social engineering, right? Now, what is deep fake and what is social engineering? Both are two separate terms. Deep fake means you take a video and you replace the person's face in the video or a picture or any moving motion picture with another person's video. So it's like faking, right? But in a very deep manner. So previously, you could fake a person's picture by just removing the head of the person and replacing it with another person. But when it comes to video, you can't do easily like that because a video contains 24 plus pictures for 1 second of motion. So it becomes extremely difficult to create such, replacing pictures. That's when the concept of deep fake came in, right? So what is deepfake? It's the technology, you could say, that takes any person's video and replaces it with another person. So instead of me delivering the lecture to you guys, I can create a deep fake video where it shows like maybe Donald Trump, the US president, handling a session for you, or it could be Vladimir Putin, the Russian president, right? So it could be anybody in lieu of me, in place of me. So that concept is called deepfake. And what is social engineering? You are engineering the social benefit out of somebody. Engineering means to engineer, to create, right? And what is social? Being friendly with someone, being social, being very close with somebody. So if I want to target you, I will become close friends with you. I will gain your trust. I am engineering it. Everything is fake. I am engineering this process to become friends with you, to gain your trust. And once I gain your trust, I get your password or I get your account information, something like that. And then I take advantage of it. Now that's social engineering. When you combine both of these, deepfake and social engineering, what's happening? So I gain your trust. I use your image as instead of my image, and I use it to maybe unlock your bank accounts, unlock your face IDs, your mobiles, or your important picture folders, anything, right? So that is what you call it as deepfake social engineering. The second key threat that is alarming in the year 2025 and now it's also on the rise in 2026. Ransomware as a service. Okay. So gone are the days when hackers would like to think and they are like, okay, I need to create a virus today. So this virus should be a very good virus. I'm going to do that. So a hacker will think like that. He will create the virus and he will go on and deliver the virus. But nowadays, what happens? If I would like to hack somebody, I don't want to have the knowledge. It's not necessary for me to have the knowledge to create the virus. Instead, I go to a marketplace, like a market, like an online market, where I can go and pay somebody, pay hackers, and get the virus from them. So I'm paying the hackers, getting their viruses, and I can go and use that virus at the place I would like to use. So that's what you call it as ransomware as a service. Somebody is providing these malware as a service to you because you pay for it and they serve it for you. Okay. So nobody would like to have their knowledge when it comes to creating viruses. So if you feel that I want to target my company, I would like to spread a virus in my company. How do I do it? Okay, let me go to the online marketplace. Let me contact a hacker. Let me tell this is exactly what I want. Let them create the virus for me and I will pay for it. I don't need to think anymore. I don't want to write any codes anymore. So there are places where I can avail these services. So that is what you call it as ransomware as a service. And because of this, a lot of problem comes up because it's easy nowadays. You can get the viruses from somebody else. So the fourth main vulnerability is IoT vulnerabilities. What is IoT? Internet of Things. Now, what is Internet of Things? Any device that can connect to the internet, that is what you call it as Internet of Things. So let's take your smart TV. It can connect to the internet and it can update itself, right? Let's take your fridge, your air conditioner, your washing machine, right? Nowadays they come with what you call it as, hey, this is AI powered, AI powered, AI powered. Honestly, they are not AI powered. So why do they call themselves as AI powered? Because they have some automatic functionality in them which doesn't necessarily say AI, but they people go on market it as AI so that everybody buys it. It's just a rebranded version. That's it. So whenever you buy any washing machine or any fridge, anything like that, just try to understand what AI feature is there inside. If they say automation, nope. Automation has been long before. If you take any fridge, Climate control was there in the fridge a long time. Now people are selling the same climate control as AI. Your fruits and your vegetables will stay fresh because we provide AI adjusted climate control. No, depending upon the temperature, the sensor inside it is automatically going to switch on the compressor, and the compressor is going to cool on. It's going to chill, make your vegetables and fruits chill so that they stay fresh. Right? So people get duped nowadays. People get moved by these AI terms nowadays. So, what about these devices? Okay, they can connect to the internet. So, what is it? What is the use of it? Right? So, when they develop these devices, they make sure that okay, they can connect to the internet, they can connect to a servers where they can update their softwares and so on. But how many manufacturers go and release periodic updates to make sure the fridge or the washing machine or your smart TV or your air conditioner, everything is safe? They don't, right? Every once in 1 year or 2 years or something even worse, they go and update their softwares only in a long term. They don't update it every month or every 2 months, nothing like that. Take our laptops. What do we do in the laptops? Our laptops have an operating system like Windows or Linux or Mac, Apple, right? And why do we keep on receiving updates in our laptops frequently? Every month, once or twice, we receive the updates and we go and update our Windows, right? Why do we do that? And when you compare it with these smart devices, you don't get the same frequency. You don't get the same number of updates for your smart devices. Why? Manufacturers don't care. Okay. So once these manufacturers they sell off these devices, they don't care in providing timely updates. And because of that, vulnerabilities will never get addressed instantly, right? So if everybody is using a Windows laptop, if Microsoft identifies that there is a vulnerability, they will release an update tomorrow, a day after tomorrow, and they will make sure everybody gets updated. They will keep on sending notifications. They will release information in the press, in the news, everywhere. But what about your fridge, AC, smart TV, everything? No, manufacturers don't. So problems created by these kind of internet connected devices is what we call it as IoT vulnerabilities. And these need to be addressed. But in hindsight, they don't get addressed easily. So hackers are targeting those smart devices also. In the year 2025 also it happened. In 2026 also it's going to be. Then last but not the least, these are the top five. I'm not saying these are the only threats. These are some top threats. Supply chain attacks is the last threat that I would like to touch upon. Now, what is a supply chain attack? Does anybody here knows what is a supply chain? You can drop a S or a no in the chat box. Does anybody know what's a supply chain? Okay, Gerard says no. It's okay, fine. I'm here to explain. But let's see if anybody else, apart from Gerard, nobody else. Even if you do not know, just drop a no. That would help me. Karen says no. Jonathan says no. Nelson says no. Great. Info says no. Yes. So okay, first Nicole says something which is very true. Are you referring to supply chain for procurement? Yes. Yes, Sharon. So the same is everywhere. So the same supply chain concept is what I'm talking about. and how is it being used in attacks and so on. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your inputs. Fine. See, what is a supply chain attack? So it is a attack that compromises a less secure third party vendor or a supplier, okay, with the idea of attacking a larger component. So to help you understand it in a very, very simple manner, let's take a mobile production house, let's say Samsung or Apple. How do they produce their mobiles? They need the raw materials. So they will get the raw materials from somebody and they will give it to the chip manufacturer. So as long as I remember right, for both Apple and Samsung, there is a chip maker called TSMC, Taiwan-based semiconductor producer. So they prepare the chips and they give them to Apple. So a raw material vendor must be one, and chip making vendor TSMC, they are the second chain. So what you call it as a chain is from start to end. How many people or how many different parties are involved in making a product? So that is what you call it as a chain. Okay. So the raw material vendor, then comes the processor chip making vendor, then comes the assembly vendor. So the iPhones or your MacBooks could be assembled in China, or it could be assembled in India, it could be assembled in Africa, anywhere, right? So recently, iPhone has been assembled in India and China. So India and China and the vendors in India and China, they become the third chain process. In the process, they become the third chain component. And then fourth, the software. So Apple themselves go and develop the software, for whereas Samsung, they need to get the software from Google for Android. And then fifth, they produce everything, they club everything, and then they make it as a product, like a phone. So you have multiple people who are not a part of the same company involved in the chain process. And let's say the raw material vendor's security is very, 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 very poor. If I need to attack Apple, if I know that I can't attack Apple easily, I will go through the chain process. I will find who is the most weakest. I will target this weakest person so that the raw materials that are supplied to Apple will get polluted. So maybe I somehow I make sure I attack the raw material vendor's website or the network, and I hack their network, and I see how many amounts of raw materials are being sent to Apple for protection of chips and everything. Maybe I can do something there, right? So this is how you are disrupting, okay? You're disrupting the chain process by targeting the weaker component in the whole supply chain. So each of them supplies to the next. So hackers are not targeting the company directly, but they are making sure they find the weakest link in the whole chain process, and they're targeting that weakest link so that they can disrupt Apple's production of mobile phones. So these are some key supply chain or concepts or key threats when it comes to 2026. Now let's see how we are defending it. What were some of the solutions that we found in the year 2025, which will be used in 2026 also? Okay. So how are we defending ourselves? Same. So like what I mentioned here, AI powered phishing. Similarly, we are going to do AI driven threat detection. So there are companies, like there is a company called CrowdStrike and Darktrace and even Microsoft. They have a threat detection tool called Sentinel, Microsoft Sentinel. So these companies have understood the use of AI, and they know that with a human, they can detect threats only in a some capability. Let's say I am a human. I sit in front of the computer and I try to see the traffic flow, the network traffic, or whatever it is. So with my human eye, I can check at a speed of maybe 10 lines per second or 5 lines per second. And maybe I can increase that throughput by having multiple employees. So I can have 100 employees, everybody checking 1,000 lines of code, right? But if you give AI, you can just replace those 100 employees with one AI, and you can ask the AI to check all the lines. The AI will never get tired. The AI can never miss a single line. Yes, AI also does mistake, but the probability of human missing a thread is more than an AI missing a thread, right? So a machine can maybe do one or two errors out of 100, whereas as a human, we will be, when we are tired, we make more mistakes. When we are not tired, we do not make much mistakes. Okay, so that is what happens. So companies use AI, right? So companies like CrowdStrike, Darktrace, Microsoft, they also start to implement AI with their components, with their software tools to detect these threats. That's the first way on defending. Now, how are we using the zero trust architecture? That's the second point. What's a zero trust architecture? Okay. From the name itself, you can understand zero trust and then a framework based on it. Now, what is zero trust? Which means blindly do not trust everybody. Always make sure you keep asking for their credentials again and again and again. That is what you call it as zero trust. I'm not going to trust anybody. If I want to do something, I need to enter my username and password. I'll give you a small example. Now, how companies are developing their security is, let's say I'm an employee. I go to my company. I enter my company. I need to use my ID card, barcode scanner. I enter. I use biometrics like a thumbprint or maybe a retina scanner, and I enter into my cabin. I go sit in front of the computer. I start my computer. It will ask for a username and password. Now the username and password is given to me. I am granted rights. I can start using my computer. I can fetch the files and so on. But let's say I'm in a department like production department, and I would like to access some files from manufacturing department, okay, or a development department. So what I will do, I'll go and try to fetch the files from other department. So when I'm going to contact the other department, it will again ask for my username and password. You get my point? So once you enter your username and password in your computer, doesn't mean that you are allowed access everywhere. Each time you are wanting to get something from the cloud server or from the database or from some other department, you need to provide your identity. Okay? You need to provide your credentials, only then it will allow you to fetch. Now, why is this important? Simple. Let's say a hacker gains access to your computer. Now, what will you do? Or what will the hacker do? The hacker will obviously try to go and contact with some other computer. So once the hacker tries to establish a contact to the other computer, a password and a username will be asked. Now you might ask me, Professor, if the hacker knows your default computer username and password, he can use the same to connect with other computers, right? No. So that's where it's different. It's not the same single username and password combination. There are multiple username and password combinations. It's like a bank account, like how you have a bank account. I have three, four bank accounts. So do I have the same username and password for all the bank accounts? No. So the bank account number is different. Their method of creating username passwords are different, right? My username and password for each bank account is not the same, right? So that once a hacker gains access to one account, he will not be able to, he or she, they will never be able to access the other three accounts. I will have different username and passwords. In companies, in organizations, they give you different usernames and passwords to access different places. So even if a hacker gets one username and password of your computer, he or she will never be able to get the access into other computers. So that is what we call it as zero trust architecture. Okay. Now, what about real-time behavioral analysis? So real-time behavioral analysis is similar to the AI-driven threat detection. So previously, there is a security role called as Security Operational Center, SOC. So SOC is a unit. It's a cyber security unit. So it's like a clan name or it's like a team name. And they call it as an analyst. The job of the analyst is to, in the SOC, in the Security Operations Center, you have the lowest level of job that is an analyst. So these analysts, they will analyze, okay, the threats, they will analyze the real-time internet traffic, the network traffic, and they will try to see, okay, what is happening? This is abnormal. This is not normal. Simple example I would like to say here now. Let's say I, as an employee, go back to my home, use my work from home laptop, and I try to connect to the company's servers at midnight. Let's say at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. in the night. And I'm starting to download files. So a firewall which tries to understand this will think that, hey, wait a minute, at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., there has been never an activity where an employee connected to the server and started downloading files. This is something abnormal, so I am going to stop it. So that's what you call this real-time behavioral analysis. Okay, so it knows that no employee has ever logged on to the company servers from home or from an outer network. So how do you define home and company's network? It's outer network. Outer network and starting to download a lot of files, right? A lot of data is going move and back, up and back. So it has never happened before. So why should I allow this? I'm going to mark it as a behavioral problem, or I'm going to say it as malicious, and I'm going to block it. So if they want to unblock it, they need to contact the superior, raise a ticket, request, allow, and then they need to unblock it. So that's what we call it as real-time behavioral analysis. For this also, AI is getting used nowadays because you can't have a human sit in front of a firewall or an analysis tool and check all the time, right? Whereas an AI can simply do this. So that's the third method, like companies are using nowadays. The fourth methodology is cloud native security. Now, what is a cloud native security? Everywhere, now every company has moved on to cloud. They don't buy computers, they just go and rent computers. So that's the main concept of cloud premise, cloud native. Now, security based upon cloud, especially for cloud. Previously, what happened? You had a security for your computers, and now these computers are no more because everybody has moved on to cloud. So you need to have specific security plan that concentrates on cloud alone. Cloud native means cloud focused security, right? So everywhere people have moved on to cloud. So hence you need a cloud native security plan, which is nowadays used by these organizations and companies. Okay. So the focus is more on the cloud focused security rather than on premise security. I hope you get the point. And last but not the least, resilience planning. So what is a resilience planning? Having a backup plan. How good are you with your backup plan when something dangerous happens? So that is what you call it as resilience planning. So always having a backup plan is very, very important. No company or organization can go and say, hey, I'm sorry, we were attacked by a hacker. We will not be able to serve you. Please come back tomorrow. No company can say that. If Google or Facebook or anybody does that, do you believe people will keep using Facebook or Google? No, they will switch on to some other service. Okay? So resilience is very, very important, or the plan to have a resilience. or a backup is very, very important. Great. Now, what are some concepts that are helping these technologies or these defenses nowadays? Right? Network security. So, network security is one concept where you have the concept of firewalls, intrusion detection systems, prevention systems, VPNs, virtual private networks, where you connect to another computer from your computer to start browsing and accessing the files. Okay, wireless security. So, all these are part of the concept of network security. Okay, so just give me a minute. Okay, so I guess my audio should be fine now. So people who said my audio is not good or it's echoing, it should be fine now. Great. So apart from network security, what are the other concepts that organizations concentrate upon? Risk management. Like I said, resilience planning. So resilience planning depends a lot on risk management. So having risk assessments, trying to run risk assessments on your organization to check where are the risks. You need to identify the risks, right? So you identify the risks using assessments, using tests. Once you identify it, you try to patch it up, and you also try to follow compliance. Compliance means you can say standards that an organization should follow. So if I am a bank, I should follow a standard called as PCI DSS, Payment Card Interface Data Security. Okay, so any credit card, debit card that a bank issues or saves as a customer account information should have certain security policies, and these are defined by a standard called as PCI DSS. So that's why whenever you use your bank app, sometimes in the logon screen, you will see that there is a logo called PCI DSS, which means your banks are following the standards. It is in compliance with the standards of PCI DSS. Business continuity. In case of any disaster, in case of any natural calamities like earthquake, tsunami, if it affects your business, how is your business going to come back, right? So these are also some topics that organizations give importance. They also think about these because all the time it's not about hackers, hackers, hackers. It's also about vulnerabilities, problems. It's also about natural disasters or man-made disasters, right? So these are also some additional concepts that organizations give importance to. Last but not the least, ethical hacking. So companies go and give contracts to people who are very good in ethical hacking, and they pay them to find problems inside their organization and they try to fix it. Okay. So before a original hacker comes and hacks their computers, they would like to have an ethical hacker do the same process. So the ethical hacker tells the organization, hey, these are the problems in your computers. You need to fix this. How you can fix this? You need to do these. So that's my job. I have told you what are the problems. You need to fix it, right? So this is what happens in an ethical hacking. Great. Now let's come on and try to see what are some top cybersecurity job roles that are on the rise. It was there in 2025, second, third, fourth quarter, and I'm pretty sure these are going to follow in 2026 also. So the number one role, like what I mentioned, is the security analyst. So the analyst is the very base level or entry level job that people will obtain when it comes to cybersecurity. Okay. So SOC analyst, security operations center analyst. So there you have multiple levels based upon your experience. You have level one, level two, level three, and then you become, yeah, administrator and so on. So security analyst, what's the primary job of the analyst? I have mentioned it. So you sit in front of the computer, you get the logs, you analyze the logs from various computers, try to find if there is something fishy, something malicious, and then you report it to your superior. So if you are level one, you report it to level two. Level two will raise the request to level three and the manager, the administrator. That's how it goes. That's the job of the analyst. Next is security consultant. Now, what does the consultant do here? The consultant is like a freelancer. He knows the ins and outs of cybersecurity, so he can go or he can be contacted by any company, and the company can give them permission to access their computers, systems. So this consultant will go check their computers and he will check what's wrong, what's good, and he will give a framework. Hey guys, I studied your company, I studied your systems. So this is what you have, this is what you don't have, this is what you should do. And he will create frameworks. He will say, you should have these policies. He will help them create those policies, guide them. So this is what a consultant does. He's not a full-time employee. He's there as a part-time to work on what's there and what they can do better. The third one is the administrator, who is responsible for managing the firewalls, installing the security tools, buying or upgrading to a better security tool. Everything depends upon the administrator. So the analysts report to the administrators. The administrators will take a call on what to do. These are the problems that we have. What should I do now? So one famous certification you would like to learn when it comes to security administrator is CISA, right? Certified Cybersecurity Administrator. So that's also there, CISA. And last but not the least, threat hunter. A threat hunter is a specialized person. So this person is there to identify a particular intrusion. So he's like there to identify a particular scenario. And for that particular scenario, what is the problem there? How to find those particular problems alone. So that person, like the specialized person who concentrates only on threats, not on monitoring, just on finding. He doesn't monitor, he doesn't respond, he doesn't raise a request. His job or his or her job is to only identify the threats, find the threats, not even identify, find the threats. Okay. So it's like I ask the person to go to a container, like go to a tank and ask the person to get the fish for me. So the threat hunter will go and get the fish for me. Or they will at least say where the fish is, this is where the fish is, and he will spot on. So that's the main job of a threat hunter. So these are some of the famous roles that are on the rise. And now let's see if you are going to enter into the world of cybersecurity. Let's say you're focused, hey, I'm going to get a job in the field of cybersecurity. What should I do? What are the technicalities that I should have? Number one, cloud-based security knowledge. So you need to have the basics of cloud security. So if you take cloud, there are many providers, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud Workspace, Amazon Web Services. These are the top three. Oracle also has a cloud. So these three or four players, they are the major players when it comes to cloud. Okay, so go and register in any of these courses. There are a lot of times you get these coupon codes, right? You get coupon codes for registering in those certifications. There is a certification called Introduction to Microsoft Essentials. Oh, no, no, no. Microsoft Azure Essentials, right? Which will give you an outlook of how Microsoft Cloud Azure service is used and what are the basic components in it. You need to learn about it. Or Introduction to Amazon Web Services. That is also a certification provided by AWS, Amazon itself. Likewise, try to find these basic certifications about cloud and try to do it. Most of the time, it's free. You can go to the website, register, and you'll get free credits with which you can do the course. Or just search the internet. There will be a lot of websites that give coupon codes to get this course as free, right? Go to Udemy. Udemy has a lot of simple courses for $5, $10, right? All these concentrate on Amazon Web Services or Microsoft Azure. You can go and do it. Google Cloud Essentials. It's a free certificate, right? Learn at least the very basics of what is cloud, how cloud is utilized, what are some security components that involved in cloud. So that is what you should have, which will increase your employability. Number two, knowledge of AI and ML in security. So if I do not know what is a fish, and if I do not know what is a fishing, stick, how will I even fish, right? So if you do not know what is AI and ML, how will you go and apply it in security? Or how will you even have an understanding of how hackers use it to attack you? So you need to definitely know about AI and ML also. Not as a full-fledged AI ML developer. No, not like that. But you need to understand how machine learning works, how artificial intelligence works, how hackers use these machine learning or artificial intelligence to create problems, and how the industry is using AI and ML with a case study. You can read a lot of case study to understand how is it being nullified. So there are a lot of YouTube videos. Just go to YouTube videos and search AI in cybersecurity, ML in cybersecurity. Right? You will get a lot of videos. You will understand it about. So you need to have these knowledges also. Third one, soft skills, which is basic for any job. You need to have good communication. You need to have that curiosity to learn, that willingness to learn. So that soft skills part is constant for any job, not only cybersecurity. Last but not the least, some hands-on experience. You should have some experience and not just certifications. Just studying some practical items or theoretical items and passing a certificate is not enough. You need to have a lot of hands-on experience, practical exposure. How have you performed, or have you ever created labs? Have you worked with labs? Labs means computerized scenarios where you need to enter into those scenarios and finish those scenarios like a game. So that's what you call as hands-on labs. Internships, try to do some internships. Even if they do not pay you, it's okay. Try to get an internship that will improve your knowledge when it comes to cybersecurity. CTFs, capture the flag. So these are again games or a puzzle-based rounds in cybersecurity. Just go and watch YouTube CTFs. What is a CTF? How CTFs work. You'll gain a knowledge, right? So you gain the knowledge through certifications. You apply the knowledge through hands-on experience. You apply it in real life using internships or CTFs, and then you go and start applying for the jobs. You will be able to 100% clear those job interviews easily. So these are some of the important characteristics that employers or HRs look inside when you go and apply for a security job, at least nowadays. So to give you a good summary, cybersecurity is not just an information technology oriented issue. It's everyone's business, even a farmer, even a businessman, even a techie, even a government employee. Everybody will be affected by cybersecurity. So AI is both a threat and also a defense tool. If used properly, you can use it for goodness rather than badness. And this field, cybersecurity, always evolves. So you need to always learn, upskill, practice. That's the only way you can stay ahead. Okay? So I would like to end the session before the Q&A with the quote. This is my own quote. Cybersecurity is not just a necessity, it's a responsibility. So you don't learn cybersecurity just for the need of it, but it's a responsibility. So any person, even your mother, father, your brother, anybody could be affected. So if you are learning it as a necessity, no, it's a responsibility from each and every one of you to know about the ins and outs so that you can help your family also. Okay. Let's pick some questions. So if you have any doubts and questions, let's go through it. You can drop it in the chat box. So Ishmael, what you can do, where can someone get all these basic components and part? See, use my tricks and tips that I just mentioned. Just go to YouTube first of all. Try to enter the key terms that I mentioned. So you will get a lead there. So you will find a video that says, oh, there is a certification going here. You can click on this link to avail the certification. You can do it. Okay. Thank you, Gerard. Thank you. Somebody has asked, Anthony has asked, what are firewalls? See, firewalls are like the gatekeepers. Like you have a security who stops people, unknown people, from entering into your building, your apartments, or your home, right? So that is exactly what a firewall is. It stops unnecessary traffic or malicious traffic, and it only allows genuine trusted traffic. See, cost could be anywhere from $0 to even 10,000, 20,000, $50,000. There are a lot of certifications in cybersecurity. There is no single one point to all certificate that you can do. Yes, the presentation will be shared with you guys. The team will contact you, like where you registered for the webinar. For an entry level job, a basic analyst certification is enough. But that's what I said. You can't have one certificate. You need to learn about cloud. You need to understand about the basics of ML. So you can't just depend upon one certificate and see that, okay, I might do something. No. Internship, you can just Google in LinkedIn, or you just go open a LinkedIn account, create a good in LinkedIn account about yourself, try to put whatever that's there about you and search for the jobs there. And you will definitely find internship jobs also. There are filters like full time, part time, internship. So use those filters and try to filter for the jobs. It will help you out. What is the meaning of ML? Machine learning. So machine learning is a fundamental concept with which your artificial intelligence, the deep learning, everything came into picture. Previously, it was data analysis. After data analysis, machine learning came up. After machine learning, it was deep learning. And now you have artificial intelligence. So these are the ladders. So under artificial intelligence is where you have these concepts, deep learning, machine learning, all of it. Somebody has asked in the Q&A section, what button must be pressed in order to participate on answering questions? You just type it in the chat box. Like how you have typed it now, just type it in the chat box. That is done. Can you send a list of the certifications you offer and their prices and intakes? Great. So the team whom you contacted for the webinar, they will stay in touch with you and you will get to know. Mercy is asking, how can AI be a defense tool? That's exactly what we discussed in today's session. I also told how AI is being used as a defense tool, AI driven threat detection, AI driven real time analysis, behavioral analysis, and so on. Let's see, any other questions come up? Okay, can you explain the zero trust architecture? Ayatunde. Yeah. See, zero trust means you don't trust anybody. That's what the meaning of zero. Zero means nothing. So no trust. Okay. So you don't use a single username and password anymore to access anything out of your computer or anything via your computer. So the moment you use your username and password to log in into your computer, that's only is going to allow you to open your computer. But inside your computer, let's say you want to join the server, you want to join the cloud, you want to go and join and access somebody's computer, like your friend's computer or something like that, inside your company, right? Inside your organization, you have multiple places where you need to fetch the files and folders from. So each time you go and access some other computer or some other place, you need to enter a different username and password. So a single employee will be given 5, 6, 7, 8 usernames and passwords so that they can use these special combinations for different purposes. What are some of the AI tools one can use for cybersecurity? There are a lot of AI tools. You should be very specific. I can't say what are some because there are many. Okay, great. Fine. So thank you all for joining in today's webinar. So the team will be staying in touch with you to explore the opportunities of what are the courses that we offer at Regenesis when it comes to cybersecurity and how you could enroll. Thank you all for giving your time. Let's meet up in the future. Bye bye.